Oh, I see what you
There we
mean.
go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So did anybody else have any takeaways from anything that they've read or learned this week? Eric, have you had any takeaways this week? Any ahas?
That was something. I can't remember what it was. I'm trying to think of it. If it comes to me, I'll bring it up. But
Okay. Maria, you mentioned something on the phone this afternoon when we were chatting.
The daily read today, or the webinar, I can't remember which one it was, when they were talking about carbohydrates and the difference with net carbohydrates. That has been an eye-opener for me. And I'm looking at my food totally different than I ever have before. Understanding that gap that needs to be there, and then applying that in theory to my eating plan, and then learning what I can do and what I can't do. And that whole scenario has been eye-opening for me, knowing how much of a gap I can keep and still feel great, learning to take, by taking too much, how that affected me. And some of that is because of my size, I'm sure. For the first, I don't know, 3 days, like I had mentioned, I had a gap of about 1,000 calories. And went well for 3 days, but on the 4th day, I was flat on my back, no energy or anything. So I had to back that off a little bit and stay in a parameter that would allow me to lose weight. That 3,500 calorie week for 1 pound is a lot for someone of my size. Mm-hmm. And trying to do 2 pounds a week, that's just really difficult to do. So keeping my calories up where I'm being properly nourished and have the energy, and still losing that pound is quite a juggling act. But knowing what the contents of the food and the difference in the calories, net calories versus total, net carbohydrate versus total carbohydrate, that has helped quite a bit. I still have to go back and listen to that video again to have it all sink in and make some more detailed notes. But that was the eye-opener for me this week, and toward the end of last week when it finally sunk in.
Elizabeth, can you hear us now? Okay, well, we're glad to have you. So, Sheila, you know, I know you had a rough week and have moved through it, and I'm looking at that quilt on your bed, not to change the subject, but did you make that?
No, the ladies from the senior center made that.
Oh, I love it. Sorry. So having moved through everything that you've moved through this week, can you reflect back on it, and what have you learned?
What have I learned?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not quite sure what I've learned. Things like this affect me that way, and I guess I need to make sure that in the future it doesn't. I don't know. It was just really stressful. I've had dogs that I've had to have euthanized before, but this time it didn't go. He was like an old dog, and veins were collapsing, and it just was difficult. And it affected me way more than normal. So I don't know. Maybe I just have to start asking family members for help to keep me away from doing things I shouldn't be doing. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to ask for help. I'm one of those people that hates to ask for help, and I need to get over that. It in other areas of my life too, like just having too many things to do. Mm-hmm. I try to do it all. I like to be independent, and so I know that's one of my problems. But I guess I'll just have to start asking my husband for help and my mom, because they're here, and you know, they could see what I'm doing, but I'm one of those secret eater kind of people. Wait for
Yeah.
them to be out of the room, out of the house, and
We're here.
it doesn't fool anybody. So I don't know. I just stay away from that part of the house, I guess, and I don't know.
It's
Just
it's tricky because when you react to stress a certain way for such a long time, you literally build channels in your brain that that's the way we're wired. So creating new pathways
hmm
to react differently takes time. And the first time you react to stress or sadness or anxiety, and you choose to react differently, it's going to be very, very hard. The next time, you've already kind of plowed a little path in your brain, and it's a little bit easier, but there's still some stumps you got to trip over. But then the third time and the fourth time, if you're consistent, it gets much easier because you're wearing a new path and you're paving a new roadway. And then eventually, the old way of doing what you were doing will become overgrown and you won't be able to pass through that anymore. But it's
yeah.
a long time of being persistent and retraining ourselves to act a different way and react differently. You know, for those of us that turn to food when we're stressed, to not turn to food when we're stressed is hard because that's what we know.
Well,
I think a key thing too is that once we get into that stressful situation, we're beyond the point where we can make a change. So we have to plan ahead. We know at some point in our life there's going to be a situation ahead of us. So we need to plan today when we're not stressed for what we'll do when that stressful situation arises.
I'm gonna do that. I know there's a few foods I can just not have here because my husband and my mom can get by without them, and they're the ones I go to. You know, I buy them saying that's for them, but you know, I find my way to them and eat them. I guess I could go out in the garage where the studio is and sing. That, you know, that might cheer me up, you know, take my mind off of it, because when I'm doing something involving music, it makes your mood better. So I'll have to see how that works too.
I think that's a great idea. Sorry, my son just came in. So it sounds like everybody learned something this week. And Eric, did you remember what you learned?
Yeah.
No.
No? It's all right. He's getting old. He forgets. Yeah, here.
Oh,
It's in there somewhere. That's Freya.
That's our new dog, Freya. She's a good girl. But I still miss my other dog fiercely. So, but it's nice to have a dog. Anyway, well, does anybody have any other thoughts? Everyone feels good about where we're going for the next 3 weeks and what we need to do?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, this has been a great call. And next week probably won't be Wednesday. I've got something else going on during this block of time, but we'll figure it out. It was great to see everyone. Maria and Sheila are both on the West Coast, so it's just about 5 o'clock for them. So have a great lean and green meal.